What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today I am sitting in a 2023 Acura Integra A-Spec with a 6-speed manual transmission, and it is a beautiful thing. And this car has adaptive cruise control. So I'm going to make a quick video to show you how to use this feature on an Acura with a manual transmission. If you have an Acura with an automatic, I'll make another video about that in the future because I'm sure it'll be a little different. I'm just going to start from the outset and say that the adaptive cruise control in this car with the manual transmission will not operate at speeds below 20 miles per hour. Once you go below 20, it shuts itself off. It will not bring itself to a complete stop in this car for obvious reasons. So let's talk about using it. Step 1, we push this button to turn the system on. Step 2, once we've reached a speed above 20 miles per hour that we want to go, we bump this little toggle switch down to set the speed, and it just beeped at me to tell me it can't set the speed because the parking brake is applied. We bump up to resume if we have to cancel, or we bump up towards the plus to increase our speed, or bump down towards the minus to decrease our speed. If you bump up and hold up or bump down and hold down, it will either increase or decrease your speed in increments of 5 miles per hour. This button right here adjusts the following distance between us and the vehicle in front of us. And then this button here doesn't really have anything to do with the adaptive cruise control. That is for the lane keeping assist, but I will touch on that during this video just because adaptive cruise and lane keeping assist work so well together. It's really like putting the car on sort of easy mode as far as driving goes. Now, one thing I sort of expected before I drove this car is that I would get prompts to shift or not shift, depending on the situation. However, I did a little over 100 miles in the adaptive cruise control last night, and I didn't really get that. And I think that's because the engine is so tractable in this car and the gearing is so aggressive that you can accelerate up from 20 miles per hour in 6th gear. I tried that this morning and it worked. Doesn't accelerate very quickly, obviously, because you're in 6th gear, but the engine doesn't lug or complain. So I think that they just let you leave it in whatever gear you want, and the 1.5 liter turbo soldiers on bravely. So with all that being said, I'm going to do a POV video of how it works. Normally when I do these, I use a handheld camera and I focus more, but because this is a stick shift car and I may need both of my hands, I'm going to use the old GoPro strapped to my forehead like a dork. So let's try it out. All right, I am merging onto the freeway. I'm going to push the button with the little car with the speedometer on it to turn the adaptive cruise control on. I'm going to immediately run into traffic because that's how we do around here. Now let's see. All right, let's get it into a gear. I'm in 4th gear and I'm going to set the speed and I'm going to bump it up. All right, so I've got my adaptive cruise control set to 70 miles an hour. I'm in 4th gear. The car is locked onto the vehicle in front of me. I don't know if the head-up display is showing up on the GoPro. This is so funny. It just goes whatever speed you set in whatever gear you're in. All right, so I'm in 4th. I'm doing 70 miles per hour. We're doing about 4,100 RPM. Now I'm going to shift it into 5th. And the adaptive cruise is still engaged. This is just so, I've driven so many cars with adaptive cruise control, and I have had, what have I had? 5 cars, 6 cars with stick shifts, and it's just so weird to be driving them together. And so I just shifted it into 6th, and now it's just humming along, doing its thing. Let's see, I'm going to increase the speed a little bit. I'm going to break the speed limit, but it's in the name of science, and speed limits are essentially theoretical in Southern California anyway. All right, so I pushed the little button with the 4 bars on it to lower my following distance to the shortest distance. What I want to do is close up on this car in front of me. So I have my speed set to 85 for the adaptive cruise. The maximum it will let it set is 90, which is pretty standard across the industry. But I'm only doing 61 because I'm behind a Prius, which is behind a big truck, and still in 6th gear, just hanging out. If I downshift to 5th, same thing, we're going the same speed, got a little bit more revs, but no other difference. I'm gonna shift it back into 6th. And what I want, and this may take a while, and I may have to use the magic of editing here, is I want it to slow down so that we'll see what the car does. So it just lost that Prius as a target because he got out of the way, and we're now locked onto the truck. One cool thing that the display shows on this car is in the digital gauge cluster display, it knows that it's locked on to a truck. So it shows me an icon of a truck there as opposed to just a generic picture of a car. It's kind of cool. So at this point, we've slowed down to about 50. Oh, we're speeding up a little bit now, but I'm still in 6th. The engine has no problem in this high of a gear dealing with these speeds. The final drive ratio has to be very aggressive. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's 70 miles an hour. This thing's pulling like 2,700 RPM, so. All right, let's see, we're slowing up. We're down to 40, 38, 36, still in 6th gear, 35. Traffic is speeding up a little bit. Oh, this guy's getting out of the way. Let's see, does this lane end? All right, I have to, well, let's see what it does. Now, if I shift, yeah. So I wanted to speed up a little quicker there because there was going to be a school bus behind me, or I was going to have to get in front of a school bus. So to get up to speed quicker, I didn't touch the throttle. I didn't do anything. Oh, let's see. The adaptive cruise shut itself off for some reason. Maybe I tapped the brake somehow. But I downshifted into 4th from 6th, and it sped up quicker. That's so funny. You have control over it in this car. So I just bumped down bumped up on the toggle switch to resume my speed. And I am in 6th gear, and we are speeding up. And I am going to tap the brake because there's a cop up here somewhere, and I'm going to bump down to set. So I have my speed reset at 72, which technically is still over the limit, but not by nearly enough to get me pulled over. And this guy's exiting the freeway anyway. So to quote Larry the Cable Guy, we're back to green flag racing out on the interstate. All right, now I'm going to increase my speed. I'm locked onto the car in front of me again. This is, you know, this system just works. If you've used adaptive cruise control in an automatic transmission car, you have a very good idea of what you're getting yourself into. The only real differences is typically in an automatic transmission car, your rate of acceleration when, you know, a car gets out of your way or whatever happens, is very predictable because it's an automatic transmission. So it'll just downshift itself if it needs to, you know, accelerate from 20 to 80 or whatever it is. In a stick shift car, that's your responsibility, obviously. The car can't change gears on its own. But other than that, it functions the same as an automatic transmission car. The only thing, like I said, it can't bring itself to a complete stop for pretty obvious reasons. Oh, let's see, we're slowing. It's telling me to brake. I'm gonna accept that. All right, now I am still in, all right, I gotta put the clutch in. All right, we're at 9 now. So yeah, it won't function under 20 miles per hour. So it alerted me to brake because the vehicle in front of me was slowing down very quickly. Now I am going to resume my speed. I'm in second gear and it let me resume my speed. That's so funny. So when it told me to brake, I hit the brakes. Just do what it says. Now let's see. Third gear. And we're accelerating. I don't have my foot on the throttle. This is so funny. Fourth gear. And we're accelerating. I don't have my foot on the throttle. This is I have a huge smile on my face right now. I don't know why I find this so entertaining, but I do. Fifth gear. Oh. This is so amazing. Oh man. I should get me one of these. I have gotten my last 2 new cars that I've bought have been Subarus with the eyesight, so it has the adaptive cruise, but of course those are automatics. And I'm kind of over the one that I've got now, and I'm looking to replace it. But I love adaptive cruise control. And other than the fact that, I mean, this one doesn't function under 20, which is kind of a bummer, but at the same time, I understand why. There's mechanical limitations. It's just so funny to be able to shift without using the throttle and it still accelerates. So a couple of tips while you're using the system. Obviously, when the car tells you to brake, hit the brakes like I just did. Pay attention to the type of vehicle that you're following. I don't know how well it's showing up on the camera just because obviously I'm not seeing the footage the GoPro strapped to my head. But in front of me right now is like a car hauler ramp type of vehicle. This vehicle, this Acura that I'm driving, doesn't seem to have any problem being locked onto that. But just be aware of the size and shape of the vehicle that you're following. A lot of the times they won't lock onto motorcycles accurately because it's too narrow of a target. And another example I always use is a flatbed truck with nothing on the bed. Oh, we're slowing down. Is it locked on to the back of the truck or the back of the cab? So just keep an eye on that. All right, so I'm in 6th. We're down to 27 miles per hour, 26 miles per hour. We're speeding up. Oh, no, wait a minute. What's it? It's beeping. Oh, brake. Oh, because all right, it decided it wasn't happy. I don't know what was going on there or why I had to brake, but I just hit the brakes, and so now I have control over it. But let's see. If I hit resume, cannot set cruise, clutch pedal is applied. Okay, release the clutch, hit resume. There we go. All right, now as promised, we are going to talk about the lane keeping assist system as well. The lane keeping assist is a separate system from the adaptive cruise control, but I typically bring them up on these videos where I'm talking about the adaptive cruise because the systems do work so well together, but you can turn the lane keeping assist on and off independent from the adaptive cruise. The way you turn it on is there's a little button on the right side of the steering wheel on the lower right with a picture of a steering wheel and some lane lines on it. So you push that button and then the system is active. On this particular car, it will only actually do anything above speeds of about 40 miles per hour. And as long as it can read the lanes, it lights the lane lines up green in the middle of the display. and it kind of just controls the steering a little bit. It's more of an assistance system to keep you in the center of the lane. I can feel it tugging on the steering wheel a little bit now, but it is not a self-steering system. It's not a self-driving system. It does require you to keep your hands on the wheel and pay attention to what's going on. If you don't keep your hands on the wheel, it will beep at you and tell you to put your hands back on the wheel. So neither of these systems, the adaptive cruise or the lane keep assist, are meant to be self-driving. You're still in control of the vehicle. It's still your responsibility to drive the car, pay attention to your surroundings, have your hands on the steering wheel, and be ready to intervene to prevent a collision with another vehicle should the need arise. But they are very nice assistance systems that make life on the road a little easier. So that's pretty much what I have to say about that. If you do have any other questions, please put them in the comments, and I will do the best I can to answer them. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.